Hello ladies and gentlemen, God's Woodsman here for you today. I just got back from a camping trip, and while I was out there it was practically a downpour. It was crazy. And my knife got absolutely soaked. And as you can see from the inside, I mean, it's all nasty and grimy. So, what do you do after a trip? I mean, it's even got a little bit of rust on it. I mean, it's quite a trip. What do you do after a trip like that just to dress up your knife if the wood feels kind of weird? You know, what do you do after a trip like that to really make your knife look like it's brand new again? Just to dress it up and everything. This is probably a little bit more advanced than what you would have to do just after, just sharpen it and taking good care of it. Because it's been through hell and back. So, how to just clean up your knife after it's had a rough day. Coming up. Hope you guys stay with me. Alright guys, usually what I'll do after my knife's been through that is first thing I'll do is just get some water on it. Try to get all the gunk off of it, because a lot of times there's a bunch of gunk. And a lot of times it doesn't even need to be sharpened, it just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Like, oh, see right here, you can even see some rust. And yeah, I mean that's a bummer right there. I don't really like seeing that on my knife. So, how do you just clean that up and make that look as good as new? And the handle's a little bit, feels a little rough and scaly, so I'm going to kind of rub this on this wet cloth and just try to get that cleaned up a little bit. Now, I got most of the dirt off. The edge is still pretty good. Still got a good edge on it. So, what am I going to do just to kind of dress it up and make it look nice? The case is pretty saturated with water. Got pretty saturated with water. It's pretty well dry now. So what would I do just to make all this so it's ready for its next adventure? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and just run it with some light sandpaper, probably like some 400 grit. Alright guys, I got me some 400 grit wet dry sandpaper. Just run that on the knife. I'm even going to run it on the edge itself, carefully. Because this thing still does have a very nice edge. But just run it on here, generally just trying to get everything nicely cleaned up. Rub it up next to the handle. Rub it on the spine. Right up by the point. Okay, see that nice big rusty spot right here? So, let's take a little bit of that 400 grit sandpaper. Doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Your knife is one of those things you need to make sure you take really good care of it. You're going to use it a lot. You can't have your knife breaking down on you. So, that pretty much got rid of all the rust spots. A little bit more there. The other thing you can do is you can actually take the sandpaper and set it flat and then just rub the knife back and forth, which in a lot of ways is a lot safer. There we go. Now let's do the other side. A little bit more towards the tip. A little bit dirty right there. There we go, as clean as a whistle. Now for that handle, the handle is probably a little tiny bit swollen, and then also it's just a little bit rough. You can almost feel it. It's just got a little bit of, what's happened is the grain has popped on the wood. So if I just go over it with a real light piece of sandpaper, just touching stuff up, and generally just giving it a good upkeep, A little bit on the back. Make sure you get the steel through the back of it. If you got any spots that are real bad, take a little bit of extra time. This is all in all pretty clean. Just a little bit of sandpaper goes a long ways. Just a little bit of this really makes a big difference. So, after you give it a pretty decent sanding once over, and I'm not going to just sand it to death or anything, I'm just going to just clean it up. Generally just try to take good care of it. Now, oftentimes after this, wow, really makes the wood feel a lot better. I didn't realize how bad that was starting to become. I didn't even notice it. Once you get it all polished up like that, it'll really feel a lot nicer in the hand. A lot more like what it was when you first got it. A little bit more. It is one of the chores you get to have when you have a wood-handled knife. But now, once you get to this point, everything's all nice and smooth. I've gotten rid of all the little nicks and everything. It generally is good. Now, I'm just going to do the same thing I'd do to it after I was done sharpening it. I'm just going to take a little bit of linseed oil, again, and I'm also, this time, also going to put it on the case. Sometimes I'll just use shoe polish, because as wet as the weather's been lately, I'm actually just going to use linseed oil, because it'll help seal the leather a little bit better. And I'm actually going to put linseed oil down inside of it also, to try to help prevent down inside to getting all wet. Not too much linseed oil because I don't want to make the leather stiff. I want to generally keep it pretty flexible feeling. A little bit behind the loop. There, it's starting to look like a good looking knife case again. And then we're going to do the same thing on the steel that we usually would do. Just put a nice coating on the steel itself. Make sure the edge is good and clean. There we go. Just a once over. And then cover the wood real good. I've even seen people that'll actually soak their wood for their knife handles in linseed oil, just so it is so saturated with linseed oil so you don't have to worry about it absorbing any water, which is not a bad idea. So once you get to that point, just wipe off the excess. Remember, we don't want to leave a bunch on there. Wipe off the steel. And you can see how much better that looks than what it did when we first brought it in. It feels a lot better. It feels like it's back to normal, back the way I've had it before. Nice and tight in my hand. feels smooth. I might even take another paper towel, just get a little bit of the extra linseed oil off the handle, because I think it did get a little carried away. So, I think I about got that good. Now, let's put it safely back in its sheath. It's ready to go out for its next adventure. Thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you've got a piece of gear that you want to know how to take care of, or how to, prep, or anything, leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to make a video on it. Thanks guys. Have a great day.